Hey guys, it has been a hot minute, am I right? Or am I right? Well, I'm here to do a little bit of explaining. I've just actually had a look on my channel page and realized I haven't uploaded for 3 months. Yep, it's been that long. So my pivot journey probably started around about March when I made my granddaughter's cakes. I'll insert some pictures of them here. And I decided to do them off camera. Now they were stressful enough, and yes, there was one 3D cake that was a little bit hard, but even the simple cake, I found that it really stressed me out. I decided to sit back and take a bit of stock and work out why it was making me feel that way, why I was anxious, why I was nervous about going back on camera, all those things, and why I was completely exhausted. So it turns out, and no great surprise, someone was burned out. That someone being moi. I found that all of a sudden I didn't have passion for what I was doing anymore, and I always promised myself when that happened, I would down tools. So that's what I did. Now, does this mean I will never ever make another cake tutorial ever again? No, it does not. If I told my grandchildren that Nanny wasn't making them cakes anymore, well...
Why she's still crying?
It's Nana's fault.
I'd be disowned. So I'll definitely still be making cakes, especially for the grandbabies. And should the moment arise and I feel up to it, I'll definitely pick up the camera and film the process of some of those cake creations. If I do, of course, I will put them onto my YouTube and you guys can learn how to make the cakes that I create for the grandkids. And it seems to be a little bit of a trend at the moment, sadly, that so many people are pulling up stumps and hanging up their aprons and giving up cake. I think a lot of what's happened also is that, the C word, has really impacted cakers, both online and commercial cakers. Commercial cakers aren't getting, or at-home cakers even, aren't getting nearly as much business as what they were because we can't have social gatherings and all that stuff. Online cakers, tutors like myself, are finding that the market has become very saturated, and it's great that everybody's giving it a go. I have no qualms at all. It's just, it's very hard to stay ahead when everybody's in the pool. So I think that is happening to a lot of online tutors. They're finding that pool's all of a sudden real full, which is to be expected in this day and age. Anyway, enough of all of that stuff. I'm not saying that it's over for good, I'm just saying it's over for now. And yeah, I love you all so much. I thank you for coming with me on the That's Cakeable journey. I'm not giving up YouTube per se. It will be sporadic. It will probably be different sorts of topics. I'm getting right into watercolor painting and stuff like that now. So if you'd love to hang around, I would love to have you just to stay on my journey with me and see where it takes me next, because even I've got no idea. All of that aside, this revelation probably couldn't have come at a better time, and I'm going to tell you why. So as you can probably tell by the title of this video, this is not really about me talking about why I'm walking away from the caking world. It's talking about what happened to the That's Cakeable filming studio. As we've just touched on that word, did I just bleep that out? I'm sure I just bleeped it out because YouTube doesn't like that word. Well, that hit. And of course, it's impacted so many people in so many ways, especially financially. And unfortunately, that is what happened to my daughter and her family. So my daughter's family consists of her partner, and their 3 beautiful children. Now, the house that I live in is actually quite small. When my ex-husband and I bought this place 20 odd years ago, it was only a 2-bedroom home, so it was tiny. As time went on, we extended and added another bedroom, so it then became a 3-bedroom home. And later on, we put a little add-on room out the back, which was to be our son's room, but that was never to be. My husband and I separated, kids and I moved out, and that room just didn't get used. Through a crazy twist of events, I ended up moving back here and turned that spare bedroom into what you knew as the That's Cakeable studio. Now the space was pretty small, but I decided to take on the challenge because my daughter and her family needed somewhere to stay in the interim while they just saved up a little bit of cash, got back on their feet. I thought, well, I'll see if I can transform the studio into a bedroom for 5. So that's what this video is about. The challenge of turning a very small studio space into a bedroom for 3 children and 2 adults. Was it a challenge? Heck yeah. Did it work out? It sure did. It's being lived in now and lived in comfortably. I'm so proud of how it turned out. And I thought that I would bring you along and show you exactly how I converted the That's Cakeable studio into a bedroom for 5. So without any further ado, we're going to run the footage from day 1 right to the end. I'll do some voiceovers in between and yeah, I'll show you how it all turned out and what the That's Cakeable studio looks like today. So let's roll the footage. Okay, so here's the before shot. Unfortunately, it's the wrong orientation. I was only filming on my phone, but you get the idea. This is before. I hadn't actually filmed in a studio for about a month at this point, so it was a bloody nightmare, but it gives you an idea of what I was starting with. And here's all the behind the scenes stuff that you guys don't see. Yep, it's a mess. So let's get it started. I don't know whether to call this day 1 or intimidation day or oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do this day because I felt all of that on day 1. Here I am just packing up all of my equipment that I have accumulated in this room over the last 2 years, and by golly, it is a lot. Here I am packing up my colours. This is when it really hit me that this was the end of an era, and I started having a little bit of a cry, which you'll see in a second. There it is. She's Suki. I was crying. Crazy. But not to fear, it isn't the end. I'm packing up all of these containers and putting them onto a new shelving unit that I have in the garage, and all my caking stuff's still there so I can always go back. Removing the curtaining and ugly acoustic panels from the side of the wall, and that all helped with sound, of course, within the studio because it was quite echoey. There goes the sign, buy the That's Cakeable sign. Removing the stick-on backsplash. Never buy this stuff, guys. It was awful. Absolutely awful. Left like sticky residue all over the wall that was absolute mayhem to get off, but clearly I'm happy with myself because I'm getting somewhere. So yeah, do not recommend the stick-on backsplash. Very bad, very bad. Nearing the end of day 1 here, really clearing it up, moving stuff aside, and about to let in some light. Down come the curtains, and a lot of blankets and stuff against that window, once again for acoustics. That was day 1. Now let's go to day 2. So clearly I was feeling all confident about this, but trying to get that bracket down, which held my overhead camera, that was a struggle. Got there in the end, but by golly did that take some work. Anyway, down she goes, yay! Taking down the framework for where I set up for my photos right there. And now I'm removing all the furniture. Doing this on my own too, so that was interesting. It was definitely a workout, if nothing else. I ended up leaving the tall cabinet in there for quite a while and worked around it. And the initial plan was to leave that back cabinet up, but when I got arranging the furniture, sort of didn't work, so that ends up getting removed later. But there are all of the overhead brackets doing a little boogie, and yeah, they're all finally out. Now let's move these units after giving them a tidy because I'm repurposing them in other parts of the house. See that bag? That is all rubbish. Like paper rubbish and just crazy. And the floor, oh my gosh, please don't look too closely at the floor. That is gross. I ended up having to get a paint scraper and scrape fondant and chocolate off the floor because it was never finished. So it was just plain old chipboard. So exciting. In she goes. So now what I'm doing is filling holes, getting ready to paint. And there are a lot of holes, a heck of a lot of holes. That is the area that I did my photo shoot. So it had a shelving unit and a pull down blind for the backdrop. Lots of holes around the sides and on the ceiling for different brackets and the likes. And yeah, hole filling took quite some time. But of course you have to do the prep work to get a nice finished result, which is, ow, I just hit my head. Youch. Here's me cleaning that floor. And that was an exercise. Boiling hot water and a paint scraper. It was pretty gross, but got it all up. It was fine. No problemo. It's just one of those things that I never got around to finishing in the studio. But yeah. Here's the fan that are going to be moving in. Look at them all. Crazy that they're all going to fit in there. And they do. So here's me sanding off the goo that backsplash left behind. It was absolute mayhem. I ended up sanding and scraping, using goo remover, using essential oils, just trying to get it off. But that was day 2 and it was on to day 3. So day 3 started much like day 2 ended, and that was trying to remove goo from that wall, which was, anyway, it took hours. Then it was time to vacuum everything, because there's plenty of dust around, believe me, even vacuuming the walls, then washing the walls, of course, getting prepped for painting time. It's always exciting to think about, yes, I finally get to put paint on, until you have to paint. Oh, I'm so happy, trying to convince myself I'm having fun. No, it was okay. Putting those lights on up the back there for the very last time. Sadness. Washing the yellow wall that you probably only ever saw twice in any of my videos. And then a few little wall decals that I had on the door there, scraping those off. Son came in for a bit of moral support. And then it was to wash every single window pane. And there was a lot, so we sped through this one. And that was the end of day 3. Finally, day 4 saw painting commence. Now, I've already gone ahead and done all the cutting in, and now I'm starting to roll the ceiling, so that was a workout, pretty good fun. It was just nice seeing this transformation start to take place. I just decided to use a nice warm white paint to make the small space seem bigger, but still warm enough. I think I ended up doing 3 coats on this. I believe I did, anyway. But yeah, ended up looking great. Had a little bit of an issue. At one point I ran out of paint and could only order online because we'd gone into lockdown. So trying to actually source the color of paint that I needed online, that was a little bit of a runaround, but we got there in the end, and yeah. This was painting the goo wall. Oh my goodness. I didn't know if it was ever going to happen, but it did. You can see out the back there in the window that the stockpile of rubbish is just getting larger and larger and larger. Here's my little helper, one of our new little tenants, my eldest grandchild, my granddaughter Ivy, decided to give us a hand with the mini paint roller. A little bit out of focus there, but she gave it a good shot. And there's little Lara, her little sister, helping also. And my son giving cuddles. It was a real family affair. Everybody, well, mostly watched me, but it got done. Here we go with another coat. Really started taking shape here. I thought, okay, now I'm seeing some progress. It's amazing what a fresh lick of paint will do for a room. Everybody else out there in the mud room having to walk around the camera. Oh well, we manage, we work it out. So yeah, basically this is just all painting footage, and I think I ended up doing an extra coat over on that wall because of all that goo, but it turned out okay. You can't see any of the actual goo there anymore, which is good. So the hard work ended up paying off. Working into the night, You look at that mudroom area through that door. Unfortunately, I didn't get any before footage really, but you can get an idea of how grubby it was prior. That is now part of the inside. It used to be part of the outside. And that certainly got a big makeover also. And that was that. Painting was done. So the final few days are filmed over about a week and a bit's time. We had to wait for the carpet because of lockdown, etc, etc. But as you can see, we're getting the carpet installed, which really changed the room up. Between the paint and the carpet, it looked like a bedroom. Wow! What a difference, hey? Check it out. And all the mess outside. And there is the mudroom. Not looking like the mudroom anymore. Looks great. Now it was time to style and decorate and furnish and all that sort of stuff. So I started with the very simple light fitting change. I don't know if you say it rattan or rattan or I don't know. Anyway, I love the light fitting. It's cute, as you can see. Pretty happy with it. Then it was time to install the blinds. So I ended up picking some light grey Venetian blinds. And because the windows were a very odd shape, ex-hubby actually cut them down so they fit inside the window frame. And I think they look stunning. However, when they came, they weren't packed overly well and they were tangled, but my darling child, here they are with the cat, showing off the fact that they untangled the blinds and did so on both blinds. Cat exploring, all equipment out to create, ta-da, the bunks. These were some low-lying bunks from IKEA. They were excellent, an excellent choice for littlies. And just some mattresses I purchased off eBay, and they came all, flat packed and stuff. It was really cool, really simple. So as I said, I ended up taking down the cabinet there at the back, which of course meant painting over the gap. And it was a bit of a rush because the family were moving in that day. So off I went and did the first coat, and I was so scared that it wasn't going to match. But after a few coats, you couldn't even tell that it was there. So yep, splash sheet down on the floor, first coat done. And I ended up setting up a fan to speed up the drying process, and all was good. At this point, you can still see a little bit of difference, but as it completely dried, you couldn't tell any longer. Then I had set up the queen size bed frame, as you can see there in the bottom left corner. And thank you to my darling son who helped me put the furniture together. I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. Yeah, ended up looking great. A quick vacuum, sort of quick. Getting it all ready for fam to move in that evening. As you can see, I'm in my highest fashion threads. Lovely. That was that. And one of the final things to put in was this cool heater, which was wall mountable and very slimline. So ex-hubby helped me pop that in, making sure it's nice and level. And what I wanted to do was hide that cord. So right behind the wall in the bedroom is my kitchen. There's me looking through the hole. So what we ended up doing was putting a hole into the wall right there. We're pointing out where it's going to be, and feeding the power cord through that hole, and it now connects in the kitchen. So there's the hole going in. So now you can't see the power cord in the bedroom. And you can't really see it in the kitchen either, where it is. Pretty excited about how that ended up. Love this heater for us. It was only about $60, so it was pretty cheap, very effective. It really warms the space nicely, and it doesn't take up too much room. Look at my unpainted fingernails, beautiful. A couple of little extra bibs and bobs, just a little cart there that was used in the studio is now used for the children's socks and underwear. I ended up putting the television there and securing it to the bed leg so the kids could knock it over, but like I said, I ended up putting a television on a mount on the wall, and that is no longer there, so there's plenty more room. A little bit of wall art up there on the back wall, which covers the air conditioner. Oh, that's right, couldn't get the telly working, but Then I got it to work. Happy days. Yay! And yeah, woohoo! That was it. And so one little part I didn't show doing was my little homage to the fact that this was my studio and now will always be the studio. This is a decal that I made and put on the door, and then we open and voila, transformation. A bedroom for a family of 5, believe it or not. Like I said, that television is no longer there. There is a space at the end of Mum and Dad's bed for the porta cot for Bubby to fit. And yeah, they're all living quite comfortably in what used to be the That's Cakeable studio, which looked like that and now looks like that. One more quick look, some wall art there over the air conditioner. The beautiful, cute little low-line bunks, Mum and Dad's bed with one of my original pieces above the bed there, and there's the mudroom, all nice and conducive to the rest of the bedroom. I'm really happy with how it turned out. And yep, that's it. That is what the That's Cakeable studio looks like today. Quite the transformation. I love the entire process. Unfortunately, I now have the renovating bug and I want to do the entire house. Everybody fits in there very comfortably. It is only temporary. Of course, it will become a guest bedroom once my daughter's family moves out, but as for now, it is functioning just as it needs to function. You don't see it in the footage, but we added a porta cot in there for Bubby at the end of Mum and Dad's bed, and I ended up getting a TV that was mounted to the wall rather than sitting down near the end of the bunks, so there's extra space at the end of the beds there also. So yes, it was a little bittersweet saying goodbye to the old That's Cakeable HQ. There were a few tears shed, I will admit, but on to bigger and better things. And of course, we always provide for our children when they need our help. So yes, it is mayhem, it is crazy, it is wonderful. The house is full of love and happiness and laughter and crying and craziness, but it is great. There are 8 of us in a very small space, so should I bring you a cake tutorial within the next 6-month period, please don't expect it to look like it used to look, because it's not going to. I'll probably be filming just in the kitchen, and there'll probably be little people running in and out and appearing on and off camera, and that's okay because that's real life. However, as long as I bring you a tutorial that actually teaches you to do what I'm doing, then I will be satisfied, and I think that that is the main idea of YouTube tutorials, isn't it? It's just making sure that I teach you how to do what I'm doing. I think it really matters about the set and the lighting and all the tech and all that sort of stuff. As long as you're getting something out of it, I'll be happy, and I hope you will be too. Well guys, I'm not exactly sure when I'll see you next. I'm sure it won't be too far away. I'd love if you would stick around and take the journey with me. Please don't unsubscribe and leave me, because I'll miss you. I love you all. Yeah, I just wanted to give you an update on where my life is, what's been going on, and the mayhem that has ensued. So if you've gotten this far, thank you so much for coming along on this journey with me. It's been a little bit of a different one. If you have got this far, I would love if you would give this video a thumbs up. I am out of practice, can you tell? I won't put it on anybody because I don't know what's gonna happen with this channel. Your guess is as good as mine, but if you'd like to jump on board and watch the journey unfold, just subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell, because then you'll be informed every time I upload a new video. Okay, my beautiful sugar beasties and anybody else that's jumped on to see what the heck this crazy woman is doing, thank you so much for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you again soon, and I guess I should tell you to go and get your cake on. If you're still here, you're probably a caker, so go and get your cake on. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.